You've just stepped onto the Pedestal,
where we talk everything entrepreneurship, growth, and support for women of color. I'm Lady.
I'm Delise.
And I'm Melissa, and we're excited to have you with us. Welcome to another episode of Pedestal, where we're featuring Maria Hosny. She is a certified professional and life coach, where she helps women ease anxiety and stress who are diagnosed with high-risk pregnancies and helps them transition to motherhood. With her experience in calming techniques, she has helped women from around the world ease anxiety and get to the root of the problem so that they can achieve their goal and enjoy their pregnancies. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, ladies. I'm excited. I'm excited to get this going.
You want to tell us a little bit about your business? I know you did like a summary, but if you want to get more into it.
Oh, yeah, sure. So I'm a certified life coach. I got my certification through the World Coach Institute. And life coaching pretty much is broad, but I decided to zone in on one niche. So my business, based on my last 2 pregnancies, I decided to help, especially in high-risk pregnancies, which often provoke anxiety and stress, and it kind of diminishes your happiness of enjoying a full, broad pregnancy. So what I do essentially through life coaching, I do thought-provoking questions and techniques. So I do open-ended questions with my clients, and I help them get to the source of their anxieties. A lot of these women tend to either have already children but have never experienced a high risk, and they're now experiencing a high risk, or some of these women have never been pregnant and this is their first time. And what I get a lot is, well, I don't know what to do. Well, I have panic attacks. Well, I'm anxious. And with these thought-provoking questions and techniques that I provide, they're able to take control of that and ease all of their anxieties.
That's awesome. You mentioned about, getting your certificate to be a life coach and then honing in on pregnancy. Was there a particular reason why you chose high-risk pregnancies in particular?
So when I first did my coaching, I was actually pregnant and still working at my other job. What I originally wanted to do was women empowerment. And about 3 months into my pregnancy with my middle child, I became high risk. So I found myself looking up on the internet. I didn't know who to talk to, what to do. I even went to therapy, and the therapist wasn't really 100% sure. She had to do her homework. And I said, no, there has to be a better way to get this going where I am able to go into a place where it's comfortable. Somebody knows what they're doing and they're able to help me in this situation. Because what oftentimes happens is that there's a gap between me and the doctor. At the end of the day, yes, they're teaching doctors now to have bedside manners. There's so much the doctor can do and listen to me and hear me cry and my worries, and eventually what they'll do is they'll usually transfer you, or oh, maybe you should see somebody, and then you're like, well, I don't know who to see. So I figured, you know what, this is perfect. And once I got into it, I found a whole world of women who were feeling just like me. And I said, this is what I'm meant to do.
And that kind of leads into that follow-up question that I had. Going through that yourself, make it easier. I imagine so, based on what you're saying, it essentially made it easier for you to turn that into a successful business because you've been there, you've gone through that experience yourself, that type of thing. Or would you say it was more challenging trying to sort of separate your experience from what your clients are experiencing or and turning that into a business model?
So I've always worked in the corporate world. And the reason why I'm starting off with that is because when you work in that type of world, you tend to turn off personal and business, right? Okay. So at first, that's how I was trying to run the business. But I found out that women wanted to hear my story. They wanted me to tell them, well, what did you experience? Well, how did you feel? Well, what is it that you did? Well, and I said, okay, I got to get vulnerable. I got to get personal here. And that's exactly what I did. I ended up getting 110% personal and vulnerable too. There are times where I talk to my clients and, I tell them, well, they hear it in my voice. They're like, oh, your voice is a little cracky. Are you okay? I'm like, well, this is bringing up emotions for me too, because I understand where you've been, and then that's where I tell them, it's okay. You can cry, you can do whatever you want here. This is between you and me. And I found out that with my experience, I'm able to help these women much better than if somebody who has not been in that situation, because it's very tough.
And I know you briefly touched about your background. How did you even make that transition?
I'm going to tell you, I've read the book Girl Boss, and she stated that in her business, she started out with nothing.
Yeah.
And that's how I started this business, with absolutely nothing. I think I had saved up about $2,000 at the time, and I was forced into it. And I think if I wasn't forced into it, I would not have taken the leap as quickly as I did. So I was working in an office, and I am a certified medical biller and coder, and very damn well good at it. I was doing it for 9 years, and I got to a point where I felt miserable. It was the same thing every day. I was in and out, 9 to 5, the rat race. And I said to myself, I have to do something else. There's something else that I'm meant to do, and this is not it. I'm not meant to be in a cubicle every day. And I started to take the certification for the coaching. And in the middle of my certification, my boss, which I hadn't even mentioned to her that I was 3 months pregnant yet, I was going to tell her, which was a grace of God, because I was supposed to be put on bed rest. And that same day, she tells me, can you come into my office? I said, sure. And I didn't expect what she was going to say, but, it happened. And we went in, and she explained to me, oh, you're such a great worker, but lately I've noticed in the last few months you've been distracted, and I need somebody here, full time. So when I told her, well, I'm having some medical issues, and she said, you know what? I feel that this is not the job for you. You're meant to do something else. Wow. So I'm going to let you go so you can venture off to whatever it is you need to do. And I didn't finish my conversation with her. And I said, you know what? Thank you so much. And I just took it, and I got my last paycheck, and she gave me all the information for, unemployment, COBRA, and all that. And then I said, thank you so much. And I left. Mm-hmm. And I think, and there's a lot of people that I told, oh, I got fired from my job. And I got 2 people that said, oh my God, congratulations. What are you going to do now? Everybody's like, oh my God, you got fired. I mean, granted, I have my husband, and, he has a stable job. So I was able to collect unemployment easily. I feel that it's always best to, because I get asked that a lot, have a little bit of cushion. Or I always tell people, work the business part-time while you're still working your full job. Mm-hmm. And then when you find it a comfortable position where you think, yes, there's a steady income coming, then go ahead and, quit that other job. Because I was a single mom for a long time. So there was no way that I was able to do that had I been a single mother. I would have had to figure it out.
And so you were talking about a little bit of how, at least your husband was there to help you. How did kind of starting your entrepreneur journey affect your family life? Was there very much of a support that you had as well while you were, starting up your business?
I had a little bit of both. My husband is very impatient, and I mean, he's now understanding that running and building a business takes time, right? So to him, it was like, okay, you finished the certification. All right. So where's your client? And in my head, I'm like, no, this takes time. So it was a little stressful for him, because for a while he was the main sole provider, yes, I was able to pay 2 or 3 bills, but at the end of the day, he was the one paying a mortgage. So to him, it was stressful, because he likes to think in the future. Well, what happens if in 10 years and I can't work, and then how's this mortgage going to get paid? And he would stress himself out. So we had moments where, he still to this day supports me, He'll say, I'll take the kids for a couple of hours. You do what you need to do, work on your business, and then let me know, if you need more time, and then I'll stay out longer, or if not, then I'll come back home. But then he also has his moments where he'll think back and he starts getting stressful. And I've gotten to a point now in the last 3 months in my business where I am constantly making an income for myself. And, the ideal goal is to keep growing that. But in my relationship, it's been an up and down, up and down, up and down till now where he's seeing like, okay, there's a stability.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that it's going in the right route. Talking about how you were, about your journey, how do you generate new ideas?
So I feel that I've been pregnant for 2 years. Really, that's what it was. Having kids back to back. And from I think about the second month I was pregnant with my last baby, I journaled. And I journaled every day about my feelings. And that's where I get most of my ideas, believe it or not. I go back to my journal and I'm like, oh, what was I feeling? Wait, hold on. And then I write it, and I notice that on blog posts and my social media, they are the ones that attract the most. There are also, from my clients as well, I ask them, well, what is it that you would like to hear more about? I do send out surveys to them, and I see what it is that they want, and try to provide as much as I can, and educate myself too constantly.
Yeah.
Because it's something that medicine is always growing. And I want to make sure that if I'm going to provide something to my client, it's going to be something that's going to be up to date, and that it's going to be a good service. So my ideas are always coming from, most of them are my personal issues, or either other pregnant moms, or just regular moms, because I also deal, with them after motherhood.
So you also give them that support after they actually have the baby and through their motherhood journey as well.
Correct. So I try to stay with them a little bit with the postpartum. Some women stay with me about 2-3 months after. And some women, I have one client who her son is 5 months and she's still with me. Because I feel postpartum is actually, yes, high risk pregnancy is important, but the postpartum part I think is so important as well.
Of course, yeah. There's so many statistics to that. So yeah, I can imagine. What's the, one question that we had was, what's the difference between your service and a doula?
I get told this every time. Every time I ask somebody, I tell somebody what I do. They're like, well, what's the difference? Or some people even tell me what's the difference between a midwife, which a midwife is completely medical. But so I've looked into this myself, and I've spoken to doulas as well. So life coaching, I just deal with the emotional aspect of the woman. Within and out of the pregnancy. The doula ensures that the woman has a safe and calm passage to birthing. So they're more knowledgeable in the medical aspect of labor, pain medication, natural births, C-sections, and doing basically their cross things that we do. So we do the same as in like calming techniques and breathing techniques and questioning, the client to see what it is that they would like, giving the patient knowledge and encouragement to ask questions to their provider. But the doula is more with them. So the doula is with them for a couple of prenatal visits. I don't know if it's like 2 or 3 prenatal visits. And then they're actually there for the birthing process. I'm nowhere near there.
So in the next 5 or 10 years, like, where do you see your business?
I actually had to do this because I myself have a life coach, and she just asked me this question last week. In 5 years, so we broke it down 3, 5, and 10. So in 10 years, ideally, who knows, maybe working with my business coach helps me as well, because she also gets down to the bottom of, me. And who knows, maybe I'll become a doula. Because that's where I'm leaning towards this business. I won't let go of the coaching because I love my coaching, and I'm able to get women from different parts of the world, which I will not be able to do as a doula, but maybe work at them together. That's what I would most likely it's 90% looking at that's where I'm going to go within the next 5 to 10 years, and working both of them together. So being a doula and a life coach together, providing those services, because I, as much as I love working for myself, I don't want a business where I'm having like 10, 15 people. That's why I'm working for myself. I don't want to babysit other people. So I, a lot of people say, oh, I want to grow my business. I want to make a multi-million company and own my own office. No, I mean, yes, I would like my own office. I would like to have a podcast eventually. I'm going to work on it and continue to help more women and reach more women. So in the next 5 to 10 years, yes, I would like to make a whole lot of money, but I would like to reach more people. That is my goal. Right now, physically, I'm stuck in Westchester for the most part, but eventually I would like to branch out. There's so many things near Westchester. I have the Bronx, I have Queens, Long Island, I have all these different areas where I can venture out. And that's where I'm gravitating towards now, and possibly even becoming a doula, which is funny because, like I said, it's a question that I get asked all the time. Well, what's the difference between you and a doula? And the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I think I want to do it.
So you can provide those services. Yeah.
That's correct. Yes.
Well, I think you've really covered just the area, and then just like how your entrepreneurship journey has been. And, we definitely wish you the best of luck. I think the one thing I would say is if you could share your social media handle, your website.
Well, my website, it's marialifecoaching.com. And there you'll see my story. You can book. There's my blog posts are there as well. And for my social media, both on Instagram. So I only have Instagram and Facebook. I do have a LinkedIn, actually. So my LinkedIn would be just my regular name, Maria Hosny. And for my Instagram and my Facebook, it's Maria_life coaching. And there, I'm a little bit more active on my social media. And I'm posting there daily. I even have links to freebies if anybody's, wanting to check the freebies and they're interested in them.
Awesome.
Do you want to just describe a little bit about the packages that you offer, or the different types of, the levels?
Yes. So I have currently right now, I just started working, doing group coaching. So I just started having a group of 5 women. It is something that I'm going to put on my website soon, but I do offer one-on-one services. So I have 3 months, and then I have 3 sessions. So that way you don't feel obligated to do. I do offer also payment plans. And each service is a little different. One is about easing anxiety, which is helping you get through the emotional aspect of it. And then the other one is to help you with the anxiety, but also transitioning you into becoming a mother. And so that one essentially is also open to new mothers. If you just recently got pregnant and you just feel overwhelmed and you just don't know what to do, that option is also available for you. And that one is for 3 months. We'll work together to help you transition to that smoothly. And then soon, within the next few weeks, I'm going to be adding the group coaching. We have 45-minute sessions once a week. If you feel you need more, then we'll work with it. And there's a Facebook group, and all the women there that are in the same situation as you are there in the group, and they have questions and concerns. I do a Q&A once a week there where I go live and I answer women's questions on there, or any questions that somebody wrote down for me. So then that way I can address them there. And all of that comes with each package, actually. So it doesn't matter which package you choose, but that one's there.
Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure having you, and thanks for joining us on our podcast. We really appreciate it.
There's so much to learn today. Yes. So I'm really excited that we got this time with you as well.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure to be on here with you ladies. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
For upcoming events, spotlights, and everything in between,
find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.